So if you turn to page 49, I'm going to go over these problems for you in case you have any questions. So number one is pretty straightforward. Sam's bill at a restaurant is $12 and he leaves a 20% tip. What is the amount of a tip? Well, we know when you calculate tip, you add it on. So one way to do it is to say, what is 20% of 12? And when you calculate that, you find out that the tip is $2.40. And because this just says what is the amount of the tip, that's really another way to do it would just be to say what is 20% of 12 and to do it that way to get 240. But because it's not asking for the total, it's just asking for the tip. That's pretty much the only way you could do that problem. Now, number two says a $60 sweater is on sale for 25% off. What is the sale price of the sweater? So two different ways to do this. One way is to find out what 20% of 60 is, and that's $15. And then you take your 60 minus 15, and your discounted price would be $45. But another way to look at this is to say, well, instead of telling me what 25% is and subtracting, I could just go right away to say, well, if I'm getting 25% off, I'm not paying 100%, I'm paying 75%. So what is 75% of 60? And you get your $45 answer right away. Okay? So now, these next two problems are a little more complicated. So for number three, it says Anna opens 2 savings accounts at the beginning of the year. She deposits $5,000 in an account that earns 2% interest, and she deposits $10,000 in a second account that earns 2.5% interest each year. If she makes no withdrawals or deposits, what will be the sum of the interest she earns from her first account and the second account by the end of the year? So here, we're going to put 5,000 because she earns 2% of 5,000. She earns 2.5% of 10,000. So here I say 100A equals 10,000 and A equals 100. And here I say 100B equals 25,000 and B equals 250. And then I just combine 250 plus 100 and the answer is 350. So I guess that wasn't that complicated. Okay, the next one says Mr. Abad earned $30,000 last year. He must pay taxes of 10% on earnings up to $8,500, and then he pays 15% on the rest of his income. What is the total amount he must pay in taxes for his earnings last year, including the taxes on his first $8,500 and on the rest of his earnings? So on the first $8,500, he pays 10%. Then he pays 15% on the rest. And the rest would be if he has a total. Okay, so he had a total of 30,000. And we have to take away 8,500. And so that's 21,500. So this is 21,500. So on this, he earns 850. And on the other, it's 15%. So .15 times, here he pays 3,225. And so the combined together would be $4,075. Okay. Now, the next one says the adult population of a town in 2000 was 400. The child population of the town in 2000 was 120. Both the adult and child populations increased by the same percentage from 2000 to 2010. If the adult population in 2010 was 500, how many children lived in the town? Okay, so the adult population was 400 and it went to 500. So the change in the adult population was 100 and the original adult population was 400. So that means this increased by 25%. 25% increase. So if the child population was 120 and it increased by 25%, we would say, what is 125% of 120? And that answer is 150. Okay, so we first found the percent of change for the adults, and the adults went from old of 400 to new of 500. So that was a change of 100, change over original equals X over 100. So it's a 25% increase. If I take 120 and increase it by 25% of 120, then that's 120 plus 30, which is 150. Okay? So now let's look at number 6. Number 6 says the price of a hard drive decreased from 180 to 144. The price then decreased again by the same percentages as it had during the first decrease. What is the difference between the original price of the hard drive and the new price? Okay, so it went from 180 to 144. So the old is 180 and the new is 144. So the change is 36. So it's saying, what is the difference between the original price of a hard drive and its new cost? So first we decide what was this percent change. So we do change over original equals X over 100. And we find that it originally dropped by 20%. So 180 minus, so then we get to the price of 144 and it's going to drop another 20%. So if we find 20% of 144, the new price is 115.20. And if I take 180 minus 115.20, I get 64.80. So after dropping twice, the difference is 64.80. So we're going to stop the video and there'll be a new video for page 50.